of the title was The Power of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the levels that we spoke about are Nefesh, Ruach, and Shema, Chai, Yechidah. So those correspond to the 5 levels of Hashem's name. It's a holographic system. Even down in the lowest level is the whole thing. Even down in the hay of Hashem's name, which corresponds to our pelvic area, shaped like a hay. Every single, the light of the Ein Sof is there. It's here. It's every level. Again, it's a unified system where every detail of the system reflects the whole system from its particular vantage point. Every single detail of the system, it's just like DNA. It's like you can now reconstitute the entire body, or theoretically, or perhaps even now, possibly, you can reconstitute the entire body of a physical being from their one cell of their DNA, right? One cell. So, the whole universe, according to Kabbalah, the whole universe is like that. Every detail reflects the whole in its particular way. Why? Because every detail was in the whole before it began. So it's sent out as a kind of an emissary. The whole universe is a unified system where each part reflects the entirety of this system from its place. Why is that important? Because even down here in the lowest level, right, down here where we are, we can have Yechidah, we can have an experience of God's oneness in our lives. So what I want to do is, like, how does that work, right? We're here now, it's 11:30, it's getting towards Chatzot Laila. There's a movement every Chatzot Laila. From the first part of the night into the second part of the night. It's called the Hamtaka, the sweetening. It's said in the Zohar, the language of the Zohar, is that Hashem comes into Gan Eden to frolic, to delight with the souls of the tzaddikim at the moment of midnight, at the transition into midnight. That's what we're transitioning into now. When the next day actually begins, the dawn starts to dawn in heaven, in the higher stratospheres of our being, right? And then it comes down into this world in another few hours, right? In order to be daytime down here. But daytime starts up there long before it starts down here. I'm talking symbolically, the literal meaning to what I'm saying. Where's up there? Where's Gan Eden? We don't have any sense of where that is. We just know there's a dimensionality called Edenic consciousness that once existed when Adam, before he became a physicalized being, right? And that we still have that potential within us. And it's important to know that because we can reconnect to that higher level and bring in more of it into our lives, right here where we are. That's why Judaism is grounded in the physical. That's why we do things with the physical, and we care about the physical. At least that's what it should be like. And we care about everything that we have, everything we own, and everything about us, and the whole world, right? It's a sacred space, it's a sacred place. And if that's not happening in your lives, right, or if that's not happening in the education that you received from Torah, about Torah, so then it was because it went off track slightly. We were pushed off track. It's hard to be in exile. It's hard to have gone through the Shoah. It's hard because we don't have our great teachers anymore. But our generation is a returning generation to that which we once were. We're the Jewish children that all generations of Jewish parents lived for. Not on the ego level, nothing special about us, except that that's the way it's been set up. Is that we've come back now into this lifetime in order to do something that every Jew has ever dreamed to do. Right? It involves going physically to Eretz Yisrael and living there, but it also involves spiritually starting to become amplified in our consciousness at the level of Eretz Yisrael, the level of Gan Eden in our lives, the level of the Mikdash. So it's not any specific teaching I want to give you. It's really just an experience. To imagine your eyes closed if you want, or it's dark enough to do it with your eyes open, to imagine your lifeline coming down from high up above. That lifeline is almost like a golden thread that connects you to your source. It's only a metaphor. In the books it said that you can climb up that lifeline, that thread of life. You can climb up that lifeline with your imagination up to the source, up to your root in the tree of life. You are like a branch that's come down from a great tree. And since we're still connected, we never got disconnected. So the yearning, the power of our yearning to become reconnected consciously, right? We can approximate it with our minds and our imaginations that we really are. What I want to say is that we can use our imagination to approximate the actual reality that is beyond our ability to imagine. Again, we really are connected to a spiritual root. So we can use our imagination to somehow make that more real. So again, we're using the image of a great tree whose branches are hanging down, and that's all of us. The lowest extremity of our soul is dwelling within us, and it's receiving its sustenance from the higher root of our soul that remains up above. And that connection is never severed. And that's what the Zohar says, that our bodies are like shoes to our souls. Just like our feet fit into our shoes. Only the lowest extremity of our body fits into our shoes, so only the lowest extremity of our soul fits into our body. The rest of our body